All right, so we'll go ahead and get started today. I'm going to talk about just frequently asked questions when it comes to considering installing solar at your home or business. And so we just wanted to kind of go through, some of those burning questions that tend to come up pretty regularly, as many people would like to gain some more information about solar, don't necessarily want the whole song and dance, the whole pushy sales appointment. So that's what we do a lot of these webinars for, is to help provide people information, help you to get more comfortable with solar in general before you go as far as sitting down with a company to discuss it. Just on that topic, so we as a company as a whole take a very educational approach to our appointments. When you're talking to one of our solar educators, we are not sales reps. You're not getting some big sales presentation. Nobody's pressing you to sign a contract on the spot. None of that. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have more questions. We are here to help you along the path of getting the answers you need so that you can decide whether solar is going to be right for you and your home. So we'll talk. I think we got about 7 or 8 questions in here today. Just some of the kind of big picture type questions, kind of the general stuff. So we'll start with, so what options do I have for panels and inverters? So if you start, Google searching, looking around, what's the best panels on the market? You're going to get all sorts of articles, all sorts of information. There's some panel companies, inverter companies that spend a lot of money marketing directly to the end user, and then there's other panel companies that do more of their marketing towards suppliers and solar install companies, versus directly to the end user. So that's, if you start searching, what you're going to typically find is those brands that have put all their marketing dollars into advertising to you as the end user. Does not necessarily mean they're the best brands out there. It's just their marketing method, right? So there are definitely hundreds, maybe even thousands of different panels, different manufacturers of panels these days. It has grown significantly. So when you're looking at panels, it is important to kind of to just make sure that you're getting a quality product. And so how do you do that? So one of the things I want to make sure people understand is, when you start talking to solar companies, make sure that they are giving you specifics about the panel brand, the inverter brands they're going to use. It can be a common practice in this industry to be very generic on the sales side of, hey, you're going to get 400-watt panels, and you're going to get a string inverter. But in those presentations and stuff, they don't tell you what brands they're going to use, and typically that's because companies are just looking for the cheapest products they can get, to then install, right? And so they don't even know what they're going to be installing when they sell it to you. So make sure that when you're talking to any companies, they're giving you the actual brand of panels, the brand of inverters that they plan on using for your project, excuse me. So when kind of looking at panels, what are things you should consider? So from an aesthetic standpoint, for any residential project these days, you should be getting what's referred to as a black on black panel, meaning the panel is black, the framing of the panel is black, so that you have a nice, sleek look to it. You've probably seen jobs around that have the silver frames. They have the real bright, like diamond-shaped white lines, or the running white lines up and down the panel. That is not a it's one of two things. If you're getting that now, I mean that was a standard years ago, right? But now, if somebody is trying to utilize that panel, it's either a very low quality panel on the residential side, or it's a commercial grade panel, right? A lot of commercial jobs, it doesn't the aesthetics don't matter so much, right? The many times they're on flat rooftops and stuff that are never going to be seen. So from a commercial standpoint, you're doing big scale projects and stuff. The aesthetics of the panel don't matter as much, and so they can focus on other things for those panels, right? By having a silver frame, it's just more cost effective than having an all black, a real sleek looking panel. But on your home, you want something that's going to look aesthetically pleasing, and so that's where you want to make sure you're getting a black on black model of panel there. Something else that you want to look at is what are the warranties on the panel. Okay, so it's become pretty standard here in the U.S. to have a 25-year warranty being offered. But what is that warranty? So most of the time, that's 25 years provided by the manufacturer for the product itself. So you have the panel stops functioning. You would want to ask companies about what their labor warranty is. Okay, so we provide a matching labor warranty on to the manufacturer's warranty of any product that we install. So it's important to really make sure that the warranty you're getting is, or at least that you understand, right? Like if you're fine with not having it cover the labor side, if you ever need work done on your panels, you may get a little bit cheaper price up front from a company because they're not offering that labor warranty. We believe in making sure that you don't have anything to worry about for the longevity of your panels, and that's why we provide that full warranty there for both your labor and your parts. Now, the other thing you want to consider is with these warranties, that's who is backing the warranty, right? So it's very easy to put a warranty policy in place, but as I mentioned, there's hundreds of panel manufacturers. There's maybe 2 companies in the world that have been making solar panels for more than 25 years. So the reality of it is we know that not all these panel manufacturers are going to be around 25 years from now. So who's going to honor that warranty? Okay, and so the panel manufacturer that we work with, so VSUN, our supplier of those, has got their warranty backed by a third-party insurance company. So this is really, really a valuable thing because it guarantees that that warranty has been paid for the life of your system by a company that's been around. It's covered by a company called Munich RE that's been around for over 100 years. So if even the panel manufacturer were to go out of business and you have a warranty issue, it is still being covered. So just a very important aspect of thinking about the longevity of your system. Is it going to be taken care of? Additionally, when looking at the warranty side of things, is how the company that you're talking to, how are they set up as a company? Meaning, a lot of solar is sold by a sales organization, and then it's subcontracted out to an install company. They're 2 different companies. And then when it comes to warranty, the person that you talk to that sold you the system is typically not going to be the person who's responsible for covering any warranty stuff. They're going to try to pass you off to the install company. The install company is going to try to push you back and forth. So then they'll just send you to the manufacturer, right? And probably all had those experiences of calling the 800 number, waiting on hold forever, trying to get warranty stuff taken care of. So when you look at these warranties, also think about the company, right? Because for us, for an example, when you call us for warranty situation, you talk to us. We take care of everything on the back end. We come out and do the replacements. It's all covered in-house, so that you get to make a local phone call. You get to talk to a real person here, and it's not getting, the buck's not getting passed around on those things. So um, warranties are not all created equals. What the short answer to that. But so okay, so we talked about the aesthetics, we talked about the warranties, and then something else that you can want to consider is the kind of on the warranty side of things. There's typically also what's called a production guarantee tied to these panels, meaning how, nothing's going to work as well 20 years from now as it works today, when it's brand new. So how much are these panels going to degrade over time, over the life of your system? Okay, and so there's something you should just pay attention to that in the warranty, right? Now you will see companies that kind of play with these numbers, right? That have really low degradation numbers, but what we tend to see with those panels, they don't, most of them don't produce as well out of the gate. Okay, so we've found what we consider to be the best sweet spot with the panels that we carry, which is a V-Sun panel. It is a bifacial panel, meaning that it will collect additional sunlight on the back side of it. So light that's reflected off your roof, or as just the sun is changing angles here, particularly on your east and west, where as it's going over the ridge of your roof, you still get light shining down the back side. So these panels just produce better than anything we've seen on the market, anything we've used. We installed a lot of things our first couple of years in solar installs. We installed the biggest brands there, the RECs, the Silfabs, the Q cells. We've seen how all of these produce. The V-Sun panel just runs better than anything else. So you'll see like an REC has the best degradation warranty on the market. But what we've seen is that like a V-Sun panel is outperforming that REC panel by 3 to 7% right out of the gate. So even if that V-Sun does degrade a little bit faster, it takes a really long time before it crosses over to where the REC would be making more power than that V-Sun. So that's why when we've looked at all the data, we've seen these things work live from installs we've done. That's why we've settled on the V-Sun being our primary panel. It's a beautiful panel. It's got the warranty that's backed by a third-party insurance company, and it just outproduces everything else. So it checks all the marks for us, and that's why we particularly love it. So then when we get into inverters, what are your different options for inverters? So inverters, there's two types. There's what's called a string inverter, and then there's what's referred to as microinverters. So inverters are what convert the power from DC. That's what's happening when the sun hits the solar panel, hits those cells. It is creating a DC current. Our homes run on AC, so the inverter is used to convert that power from DC to AC. And so the string inverter is where you're stringing lots of panels together down into one large inverter. Microinverters are where you're converting power individually at each panel level. So string inverters was the first inverter on the market. Was the only way it was done for years and years. Microinverters are newer to the industry, not new by any means. They've been around for 15, 20 years now, but really gained a lot of popularity over the last decade of solar, which early on, they were really touted for being they were better with shade than a string inverter. When a panel was being shaded, the whole string was affected, where with microinverters, it was done on an individual panel by panel level. The panels, lots changed. That's not nearly as much of a factor now as what it used to be. So you'll see that promoted a lot for why you should definitely do microinverters. I don't consider that a breaking point any longer when it comes to these. So string inverters typically a little bit cheaper out of the gate than your microinverters. But there are some other advantages. Microinverters carry a longer warranty. They're going to typically come with a 25-year warranty, where your string inverter is going to be somewhere between 10 and 12 years typically. But when comparing those, it's some of the other things with string inverter can just kind of depend on the size of your system, right? Like you get in, because it's one inverter, you can kind of get into these gap spots where it's like, oh, that's too many panels for one string inverter, but it's really not enough panels to be doing two string inverters. So definitely, if you fall into that gap spot, microinverters almost 100% make more sense. But if you're looking at batteries, then sometimes string inverters is a better route, because you've got these hybrid inverters and batteries with inverters built into them now. So there's a lot of different things to be looking at there. But the big things I would tell you about that is it's a site-by-site determination, right? Like somebody tells you, nope, 100% you should always do microinverters, or 100% you should always do a string inverter. It's the best thing. That's the answer really should be, let's look at your home. Let's look at what you need, and determine what's going to be the best path for you, because depending on the situation, many other factors, you're going to determine which one of those is the best option for your project. It should never be a 100% this is the only one to use type of thing, without looking at your individual situation. So again, inverters are similar in the fact that as the panels, there's companies like Enphase on the microinverter side that have promoted very much to directly to homeowners. So if you start searching inverters, it's going to be the name that you see pop up. Doesn't mean they're the best thing on the market. No, not for that reason. I mean, they are a very good product. We offer those on the microinverter side. We also offer the Hoy Miles product, which is what we tend to use a lot more of. But both good products there. Hoy Miles just will come in at a better price point, better value, because of some of the technology that they use that Enphase does not. On the string inverter side, there's a number of brands out there, some of which have had a history of some issues. We offer the Tesla string inverters that have been very, very strong. And you'll see some other brands out there, Solar Edge, Sunny Boy, Fronius. Commercial projects a lot of times will use Fronius inverters. They're bigger industrial size type things. So moving along here. So how much electricity will my system produce? So that is one of those things that needs to be looked at, actually designed out. Okay, so many times I get asked, just random conversations in passing when people you hear what I do. They're like, "Oh, how much would solar be on my house?" And what would it produce? And it's like, well, until we actually look at it, put together a design, can't really answer that. There's no like, oh, a solar panel is going to produce X amount of power, right? So you'll see like we install currently 445 watt panels. So it's like, oh, so that should just mean it produces this amount of power. Well, there's a lot of factors that go into that. Okay, so those factors being, is there anything shading where the panels are going to go? What is the roof pitch of your home? What direction is that roof facing? So there's a lot of things that go into being able to determine how much power is going to be produced from a particular system. So a lot of times people just want to, hey, give me a quick answer on this, right? How much does it cost, or how much power is it produced? And the reality is you just can't. You can't do it without actually doing a little bit of work to put something together. So how long will the process take from signing to installation, right? So it is important to understand this is a construction project, and it's an important one. We're dealing with, typically we're roof mounting systems. It's going to go on your roof. Um, Obviously, to put attached panels to your roof, there's going to be screws going into your roof, which means there's penetration points. So um, making sure that um, everything's designed properly and permitted properly. There's a lot of work that goes into that from the time you sign to the time it's actually ready to be installed on your roof. So, and then the electrical side of things, right? We're running electrical power. There's again a lot of details that have to go into that. So that process, depending on permitting in your particular city or county, what those type of things look like, that's many times a lot of the waiting. Um, so it can be somewhere between 4 weeks and 12 weeks is kind of the window of time depending on where you're at and what the calendar kind of looks like. Obviously, weather delays and things this time of year as well. So the important thing to understand is it's not a quick process, right? You're not like saying, oh, I want solar today and it's going to be installed next week. Not happening. So just be prepared to have some patience with it. We do pride ourselves on we are extremely efficient. We call it a hurry up and wait game, right? Like we are very efficient about all the things we can control so that we get your applications into the system with your utility company as quick as possible because we got to wait on them, right, to process all the applications. That takes time. Get it your permit requests into your city as soon as possible. So again, we can wait through their processes. So it's one of the things that we have made a point of to be the quickest from signing to being out there installing your system so you can get to producing power and saving money as quickly as possible. So what happens if I need roof repairs or a replacement? All right, so solar panels on your roof. So one of the things, part of our process, we also have a roofing division. So this is very important that you can be confident that as part of our inspection process, we are evaluating your roof's condition. We're going to provide you with a 25-year leak warranty. We're guaranteeing these penetration points aren't going to leak. So we're going to make sure that your roof's in good condition and that it's ready for solar to be put on. Now, does that mean that your roof's got to be set that it's going to be fine for 25 years? No, we know, I mean, roof life, most roofs are warranted for about 25, 30 years. But we get a lot of weather issues around here, so it doesn't mean they're all going to last that long, right? So one of the beautiful things about the solar panels is that they're actually helping protect your roof. They're very strong. They are more durable than your shingles are when it comes to hail, which is one of the big culprits around here for tearing up roofs prematurely. So what you need to know when you're talking to a company about solar is, hey, what kind of inspection do you do on my roof before you get started? And then if your roof does need repairs or it needs a replacement, like we saw with the big hailstorms that came through, right? A lot of customers that had solar, their solar panels were fine, but hey, the other side of the roof was destroyed from the hail that came through. And so, with their insurance claim, it's covering the entire replacement of a roof because it's all got to match. So between nice thing, I mean, that's insurance and covers the cost of removing those panels, putting them back up. So if your roof does ever need replaced or repaired, we also have the staff on hand to take care of those things for you. We have an insurance specialist that he knows how to work with the adjusters and everything to make sure that you're getting everything taken care of if it's an insurance situation. If it's a retail situation, you're just buying a new roof when you have solar on there. One of the things we offer, because we do have a roofing division as well, is that we will actually remove and replace those panels at no cost if you're using our roofing company to replace your roof. And if you're using another company, then I mean it's just that cost of the feet can't be reused, so those have to be replaced, and then the labor of having guys out there 2 different days to remove and replace them. So you just quote on that. It depends on the system and everything. And so next question, how does solar work with or without batteries? So important thing to understand about solar by itself is that if the grid goes down, the utility company, power line breaks or whatever, and the neighborhood loses power, solar by itself cannot run, so it will shut down. Okay, we need the grid to speak to the solar. If we didn't shut it down, then that means that power could be pushed back into those lines and would electrocute the utility worker as he's trying to fix them. So we definitely do not want those things to happen. The system's got what's called a rapid shutdown already built into it. So if it detects a grid outage, it automatically shuts down. Okay, so solar by itself, neighbors' lights go out, yours are going out too. No different than what happens now. Okay, so I always say solar replaces the electricity that we're buying from the utility company that we use every day 24/7, right? Batteries are a replacement for a generator. So if you're in the market for a generator, then you should probably look at a battery as another option. So batteries give you backup. If power goes out, then your battery can kick on and run at least some of your essential loads, right? So there's quite a bit of calculations and stuff that go into sizing batteries, deciding what you want covered and how much battery power you need to do that. So what tools are available to monitor my solar system's performance? So any inverter company will have a monitoring app that will actually show the production of the system. So it varies some by company and how much information they provide, but every company will have an app that allows you to monitor the system's performance. There's also things called like an Emporia View that is a overall energy monitoring system. So if you really want to look at and pay attention to how you're using your energy, a view can be connected into your service panel to up to 16 individual circuits. So you can actually see exactly how much power your HVAC unit is using or how much the dishwasher is using. So there's some different options there. One of the things that with like the Emporia View, you need extra breakers available in your breaker box. So it's not a fit for everybody, but it is something that is available if you want a little bit more information than what just comes standard with your monitoring app for your system. So next one then, do I need to tell my insurance company about solar? Yes, this is important. So if you purchase solar, there's different ways to get solar, right? And so basically the big distinction is between you purchasing it, whether that's with cash or financing it with a loan, in which then you own the system, and that means the replacement cost of your home has went up, and so your insurance company does need to know about that so that your coverage covers all of that. Now, should not raise your rates anything crazy. Typically here around $100 a year is what that is. It's not it's not a crazy expense. It's just now if they're looking at a full replacement at your house, right? Like your house gets taken away in a tornado, and the value before was $300,000. Well, now you've added another, say, $20,000 worth of solar panels. Now the overall cost to replace your home is $320,000. So they just have to take that into consideration. Now, there is a separate separate option, right? What's called TPO, a third-party ownership model, which you can go back and look at some of other webinars, videos where we talk about this in depth. But if you go that route, then you're getting a lower electric bill than what you're currently paying, but you don't technically own the system, which means that you don't have to worry about the insurance, the warranty stuff. None of that falls in on your plate. It's handled by the company. So And there's some pluses and minuses to both of these options, but one of the ones for that third-party ownership model is that you don't have to mess with your insurance. You're not raising your insurance premiums, none of that. So that wraps up our FAQ session here. And then let's take a look here. We're going to spin a wheel to give away a $25 gift card, but I'll check and see if we have some questions here as well that I can answer. So we had a question here. Will you apply for the building and electrical permits? So yes, that's a great question to ask companies when you're interviewing them for installing solar for you at your home. Who takes care of all the applications and the permitting, right? So with us, we're taking care of all of that. So that's all inclusive in your pricing. Yeah, there's no surprises after the fact. Some companies will come in with a low bid, and then you start getting, after you sign a contract and stuff, it's like, oh well, yeah, you got to pay for the application to the utility company. Oh, you got to pay as a homeowner and send in the paperwork for permits to the city or the county. Oh, you've got to take care of all the paperwork for your homeowners association. When you work with Sunset, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. We take care of everything. So it's a good question to ask, just to make sure that you're clear going in what responsibilities may be on your plate there. I will say with HOAs, occasionally they do require that you as the homeowner are the one that actually turns in that application. But either way, we're filling out all the information. You're signing and submitting it. All right. Let's see. Any other questions here? All right. Well, then thank you all for joining. And let me see. I think I've got. Let me get the wheel up here so we can spin to see who's winning our gift card. I'll share this screen. All right, here we go. My favorite part. Give this wheel a spin and let's see where it lands. Woo, there we go. Pepper. Congratulations, Pepper. You have won our gift card. We'll be emailing you there to get your information so that we can send that out to you. Thank you so much for joining, and feel free to reach out if you have some additional questions specific to your project.